Hello everyone, welcome to my channel on understanding finance in sports. My name is Faisal Hasnain and today we'll talk about the world's most marketable athletes. The world's 50 most marketable athletes for 2020 is a list that has been commissioned by Sports Pro Media, who've been taking out an annual list since 2010. The list for 2020 was prepared by Neilson, which is a well-known data research and analysis company. And they studied over 6,000 athletes from 21 sports over the last 12 months. They used their own methodology to arrive at their selection and their list, called the Athlete Selection and Measurement Framework. And at the end of the exercise, they arrive at an overall athlete influencer score for each athlete. And this particular score measures the ability of the athlete to influence people. So we'll have a look at the athlete selection and measurement framework that was used by Neilson to arrive at the list of the 50 most marketable athletes for 2020 and see how Neilson compared influential athletes against each other. They analyzed the 4 R's for each athlete, namely the reach, relevance, resonance, and return on investment. Now, what are these? Reach is the ability of an athlete to send a message to a large audience. And here we are probably talking about the use mainly of social media, where athletes have followings running into millions and millions of people on Instagram and Twitter. So if an athlete has got a following of, let's say, 50 million people on Instagram, a message that that athlete sends out on anything really, whether it's a brand or some other matter, potentially reaches 50 million people. And that's what a marketing company is looking for. Relevance is the strength of the connection between the athlete and the brand. And here, again, obviously, there has to be some kind of consistency and relevance and synergy between the athlete that is appearing on the advertisement or advertising a brand and the brand itself. So for example, it wouldn't make any sense to have Michael Jordan to advertise a tennis racket because there isn't that kind of synergy between tennis and Michael Jordan. So that wouldn't make sense. So that there has to be some consistency. Resonance is the ability of the athlete to influence audience behavior. And here, what they're saying is that not only should the athlete have the reach, the athlete should have the potential and the standing to be able to actually influence their audience. Return on investment is the perceived overall value received from the athlete. Here we are talking about both tangible as well as intangible value. Tangible value is obviously things like an increase in the demand for the product that's being advertised, increase in sales. Intangible benefits and values are, for example, an increase in the prestige or image of the company by being, or the brand by being associated with that particular athlete. So the use of the individual 4R scores to arrive at an overall athlete influencer score. So what they did is that they scored these 4 headings and then added them all up to arrive at an overall athlete influencer score to see and then prepare the top 50 list based on that score. So let's have a look at that. So here on this slide, I've got the top 10 most marketable athletes for 2020. And number 1 on the list is Lionel Messi, with an influencer score of 115. And that's made up by a reach score of 50, a relevance score of 5, a resonance score of 23, and a return on investment score of 37, adding up to 115. So Lionel Messi is considered by this particular exercise to be the top most marketable athlete for 2020. Closely behind Lionel Messi, in second place is Cristiano Ronaldo, also of soccer obviously, with an influencer score of 113, followed by LeBron James with a score of 110. Virat Kohli, that's an interesting one, Indian cricket captain with a score of 109. Bianca Andreescu at number 5, tennis player, Canadian tennis player with a score of 107. Neymar at number 6 with a score of 107. Khabib Nurmagomedov, mixed martial arts, the score of 106, comes in at number 7. Rohit Sharma, another Indian cricketer, comes in at number 8 with a score of 103. Mohamed Salah, Liverpool soccer player from Egypt, comes in at number 9 with a score of 103. And Paulo Dybala, the Argentinian soccer player, comes in at number 10 with a score of 100. It's an interesting list, and I'm sure there'll be people who will not agree with this list, but this list is as per the criteria that has been set for this exercise by Sports Pro and by Neilson. Other sports that were within this list in various places: Ryan Garcia, boxing, came in at number 12. Gymnastics came in at number 14 with Simone Biles. Alex Morgan, USA female soccer player, came in at number 17. Coco Gauff, the new tennis star from the USA, at number 18. Lewis Hamilton at number 21. Dina Asher-Smith, 22. And Sky Brown at number 27, skateboarding, aged 12. That's amazing. Carrying on, Rafael Nadal came in at number 28. Anna Gasser, snowboarding, number 29. And then you had surfing. CrossFit at number 45. CrossFit is a high-intensity exercise workout that is now considered as a global sport. Biathlon and skiing at number 49. So there were 16 sports represented on the top 50 list, with soccer having the most number of athletes, 15, followed by basketball and tennis. So does this mean that soccer, basketball and tennis are the top 3 most marketable sports in the world? Interesting question. This list is obviously a list of the athletes, and I guess in a way by extension you could say that the sports that they represent obviously get a benefit from their being on that list. Some observations: there's no one there from golf. Golf is a huge global industry on its own, and while that industry obviously has its rightful place as one of the world's top sports, what this exercise says is that within the game of golf, in their opinion, there isn't anyone right now in the top 50, who they consider to be one of the most top 50 marketable athletes. There's no one from baseball, although baseball, as you know, is a huge sport in USA and places like Japan. There's no Serena Williams, which I found very surprising, but there we are. The youngest athlete, as I mentioned, Sky Brown, is 12 years old. came in at number 27 for skateboarding. In tennis, Bianca Andreescu was placed higher than Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal. I guess part of the mandate was that this list also looks at the future over the next 3 years. And it looks at the potential for the athlete to grow and for companies and brands to try and get those athletes on site at an early age and at an early time in anticipation of future growth. And the list also assumes that some older athletes may have already reached their potential and therefore they would like to look elsewhere to promote their brands. Previous number ones, as I mentioned, this exercise has been going on since 2010. 2010, LeBron James, number one athlete, marketable athlete. In 2011, it was Usain Bolt. Then followed by Neymar in 2012 and 2013. Lewis Hamilton 2014. Eugenie Bouchard in 2015. Stephen Curry 2016. Anthony Joshua of boxing 2017. 2018 we had Paul Pogba, and 2019 Naomi Osaka. So it's an interesting list. I'm sure there are lots of talking points around this. Not many people will agree with all the findings, and I myself have a lot of questions on this, but it's an interesting discussion point. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you all again soon. In the meantime, all the best. Bye-bye.